What's up guys, it's Gmo. So I found a pretty cool DDD combo that is legal in TCG. Post-Soul Fusion, it's not legal with, I'm not using things like Needle Fiber, I'm not using Gilgamesh because those are not out yet, are not out in TCG. So before we get into the combo video, I'm going to showcase off the deck profile just because there's a lot of experimentation with it. Trying to figure out like what boards I can make here in TCG. Now a lot of your like combos revolve around like 3 to 4 cards. If they're 3-card combos, then one of them will have to be Kepler to get the 4th. But with that, since like in the meta there's not a real use of hand traps, most people are siding hand traps. At least from like what I've seen. So I've built the deck with like meta in mind. There is some spice in here. There is some spice. I love having we got a little bit chili spice in here. So for the main, 1 Doom King Armageddon. This is just a target for Thomas's monster effect. 3 copies of Ragnarok. Gotta have 3. 2 Thomases. This is a card I've been floating around from like 1 to 2 or even 0 copies because it doesn't really help you extend. And it's more of like a going first card than a going second card. Because since it's a 1-card rank 8, it gives you a lot of options, but it sucks opening up multiples, and sometimes that happens. 1 King Kaiser, so I'm playing this in just in case I go second, because then like you just search it, scale, summon Kaiser, I win the game. Well, you don't really win the game, but it's a pretty damn good card. And Gilgamesh makes this so stupid to the point where like you're gonna play 3. 2 Leonidas, I still like running Leo. I hate burn decks with a passion, and I hate dying in time because my opponent's just like, yo, banish Barbar for game. And I'm like, yo, dog, what? Like, I hate burn. 1 Orthrus, 2 copies of Lilith. So Lilith, I'm experimenting with as like, it's more of like a recovery card, because you can target 1 DD monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. That lets you perhaps, reuse like a Kepler that you have in your grave, maybe like a Ragnarok. It even allows you to recover like a Genghis. By the way, like I mentioned before, this deck is like in an experimental phase. I haven't figured out a concrete build that I want to play in TCG. And it also has like you can also add a face of Pendulum monster, DD Pendulum, from your extra deck to your hand, which is still kind of nice. So it's a little bit easier than Kepler. Than Savant Thomas, but again, you have to summon it. 2 copies of DD Ghost. This card's really good. 3 copies of Swirl, 3 copies of Necro, 3 Lumias, 3 Kepler, standard stuff. Triple Allures, double Desires, and 1 Upstart. I'm testing this out. I'm testing out to see if I want to run 3 Desires, or if I just want to play like the 2 Desires like an Upstart that I have right now. This is still in testing. Triple Gates, 1 Dark Contract with the Swamp King. I've noticed a lot of times, I feel like Swamp King is like a brick. So I'm going to test out to see if I cut it out. Or keep in, because since I'm not playing like Fusion Caesar, there's like no real reason to play it. It is kind of an extender, but like your Fusion monsters are like, well, all your DD cards are hard opt, so it's not the greatest. 1 Dark Contract with the Witch. So the theory with this is, if I happen to brick, I can at least end on like maybe Siegfried or like Borlode Savage with the Witch, which I think has a lot of potential. Damn good. It has a lot of potential. Triple Mind Drain. So the reason for Mind Drain is because I want to meme on Dangers. Like, you play this and like Dangers straight lose. They can't activate Bigfoot's effect. They can't activate any of their Dangers effects. You do have to go first though. The only way they can out this if they're playing Dangers is if they go activate Trade-in, send the Danger. If they somehow discard the Danger, discard Danger Bigfoot, then yeah, they can out it. But a lot of lists I've seen don't play Trade-in. Or they just run like the typical 2 Nessie, 3 Jackalopes, 3 Snacks, and like that's it for like their rate for like the engine. They just play like an 8 card. Maybe they run like 1 Bigfoot, but they usually run 1 Bigfoot as like just to have another name and not really for like the pop effect. So for the extra deck, we got 1 Exact Genghis, 1 Oracle King, 1 Vortex Dragon. I want to see if I could do like a Vortex, if I can end on Vortex Siegfried. 1 Genghis. Really, you should be playing 2, and I kind of forgot to do that, so rip. 1 White Armageddon. This card gives everything hexproof. It's pretty disgusting. If you can end on this plus Siegfried, easy clap. 1 Executive Alexander. You don't really make this. This is a card that's a flex spot. 1 Savage Dragon. Love this card in this deck. For me, I feel like this card has is better than crystalling, because crystalling only stops monster effects and it's way harder to summon. Savage Dragon is like a better crystalling and it hits more cards, so effectively I'll have like, if I have this with Siegfried, I get a monster negate and a spell negate. Same thing as Siege Wing. But I can also get a spell negate or a spell negate, a spell negate and a spawn trap negate. Or I can get a just a background negate and a background negate, which is pretty damn good. And you're always gonna have a link monster attached to Savage Dragon because you're playing DDs, you need links. One Dawn Dragster. This is if you can't make Siegfried, you might be able to go Borload, Savage Dragon plus Dawn Dragster, which is still pretty good. So one King Kali, love this card. One Giant Trainer. There are some combos in this deck where you actually can bust out Giant Trainer for a draw 3. But it's not super consistent. But I still want to test it out to see if it becomes like worth or not. One Absolute Dragon, you need it for Vortex. One Skull Dread. I've been testing this card, and so far I really like it. But I also feel like it gives the deck like, it makes the deck like bad in a sense, because if my opponent just negates it, then I'm out. Then I'm just gonna get OTK'd next turn. So I'm not too sure. Lamphocratus, Linkuriboh, you need Linkuriboh 3. So now that we've gone over the deck profile, we're going to showcase the combo, and I'll explain more about, like, how the combo works. We're not going to do that. I'm bad at the game. Unfollow, unsubs. Alright, we're going to go to the combo 2019. Oh, I was also testing out a DD Danger build that I'll also show off, but it's not, like, the correct version. So I'm playing against myself just for testing purposes. I'm playing, like, this is my 60 card. Danger, Dark Lord, Dark World, Christia Turbo. It's honestly pretty fucking consistent. But so like this hand right here is pretty bad, but double Allure makes this hand better. So you go Allure, draw 2, get a Kepler. So effectively I've drawn into Kepler and a Necro, which is pretty good because now I have full combo. So Gate, Grab, Swirl. Linkuriboh. This part is like important for any DD deck. If you summon Kepler, you always want to go on a Linkuriboh because Genghis always has to be in this little zone. If you put Genghis here, then you're forced to link it away, which you really don't want. I've learned that the hard way. So when you banish Swirl, summon out your boy King Kaiser, Necro, go into Skull Dread. So with Skull Dread, I drew into some pretty decent cards. So I drew Mind Drain, Lamia, and Abyss Ragnarok, and this is where like it's spice. So you go Necro, banish Genghis, exec, trigger Ragnarok to summon back Kaiser. So you go into Siegfried, cause you're gonna summon Lamia off of what's his face, Skull Dread. When Siegfried summoned, you're gonna proc High King Genghis. You always want a chain block if possible in this deck. So Lamia sends that. So your ending board becomes... so your ending board becomes Skull Dread plus Savage Dragon, Siegfried, and High King Genghis. Which, going second, this is OTK. Because you'll have effectively 2 negates on board. And a floodgate, because if you're playing, like, if you flip Mind Drain during their turn, like, it's like, oh, scoop. Like, at this point, this deck is gonna scoop. They can, like, set a danger, but realistically, it's not gonna matter. Oh, and technically, you have 3 negates, because High King Genghis does negate a spell or trap, but it's only on your turn. So, like, this combo, I think, is legit. The problem is, it's very prone to hand traps, but the whole entire deck is prone to hand traps. Like, you could play Call by the Grave, but I feel like Call by the Grave doesn't do enough. And doesn't do enough to protect the deck. But with that said, this was the combo video. Thanks for watching. Signing out.